Kia ora te iwi, we're down here at Event Cinemas in Robina, and we're joined today with Mike Jonathan and Piripi Curtis. Kia ora. Mātua tama, wairua tapu, me ngā ana hira pono, ai nei, ake nei, ai. So Te Karanga o Te Kowhai would like to acknowledge all the traditional custodians of this land, and we pay tribute and honour to our past elders, those who are present and emerging onto this land. Thank you for joining us today, whānau. Beautiful to have you on the Gold Coast here. So ko ai tō ingoa e no hea koe.
Kia ora koutou, ko Mike Jonathan tōku ingoa. Huri au no mātātua tainui te arawa. Ko au te kaitohu mo tēnei kiriata ka Whawhai Tonu.
Ko bata whaura te maunga, te roto i te kita I hinga te moana, ko rākea o te tupuna whare. Ko Ngāti Rongo mai me Ngāti Pukeanga iwi ko te arawa te waka. Ko Piripi Curtis tōku ingoa, ko au te kaihautu o tēnei kiriata. I'm the producer of Whawhai Tonu.
Ai, kia ora. And for those who aren't too shabby on our Māori movie roles, can you please explain to us what your roles are and just a brief description of what it entails for you to do in the making of
For sure.
movies?
Yep, my name is Mike Jonathan. I'm the director of this film, Whawhai Tonu. And director is the person with the vision and how you want the story to be told. And this story is told through the eyes of children. And also, the biggest thing is honouring our tupuna, our ancestors from Aotearoa who fought in this real, true battle of Ōrākau in 1864.
I'm the producer. The producer is responsible for making the film. I'm legally responsible for it. I have to find all the money to make it happen and manage the budgets to ensure that we get to the end without blowing those budgets. And amongst many of the jobs, I've got to employ the director, the writers, the cameraman, all the crew and the cast, and it's a part of my responsibility. But my biggest responsibility is to ensure that I protect my director and allowing him to tell the story that, in the way that he envisaged it. And so I've got to support that with getting the right people around him and ensure that he's left to focus on the story and the emotion and the beats, so that when we get to the film, people can feel what's going on, not just see.
Oh, nice. See, I don't think that anyone actually knows, the in-depth role that each player plays in the crew. So we're, of course, here at Robina Event Cinemas, and it's the premiere screening for Ka Whawhai Tonu. It has played here on the Gold Coast before, and I'm looking forward to seeing it for the second time now. I'm going to hold my tears back throughout this interview because I'm sure some things are going to be a bit rattly for me. But just let me know, and the whānau know out there, how long have you been in the industry and what made you step into the roles?
Yeah, kia ora. Good question. I've been in the industry for 32 years. I also work as a director of photography, or it's a flash name for a cameraman. And I've directed TV and documentary for a number of years. And so this is my first feature film that I've directed by myself. And it's an 8-year journey to get into this point. Most of those years were just partnering with whānau, with the true storytellers or the narrative, who own the narrative. So it's a partnership about, making sure the whānau come with us every step of the way, to bring this film into fruition to the rest of the world. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. And yourself, Piripi?
I'm a school teacher by trade, and I got out of school teaching and started producing and editing a show called Hunting Aotearoa, and with my brother, my younger brother, and I've been doing that for about 20 years. We're still making the show. We've got a new young presenter, my nephew. In fact, the writer of Ka Whawhai Tonu, his eldest son is the new presenter of my hunting show. which goes to air in New Zealand soon, and we're just embarking on the next series, Series 19. But I got into this because I was, as a school teacher, realised that there wasn't enough Māori role models in our media, and at the time, there were very little that our kids could be inspired by. And so there's a saying that our Aboriginal whānau here say, and they say, if you can see it, you can be it. And so my passion is to bring to life on screen, whether it's television or film, uh, amazing Māori people. And certainly in this film, Whawhai Tonu, the thing that I really am passionate about is showing the world how amazing our tupuna were. They had to fight with such incredible odds and the latest technology, and they were able to manage that technology and do amazing things. In fact, they set the standards for trench warfare for the rest of the world, and they created the trenches, and that's how amazing they were. And if we don't show the world how amazing they were, who will? And it's up to us, because if we can show the world how amazing our ancestors are, our kids can actually believe that they're amazing, because they should. And that's part of the journey of this film, is to show how incredible our people were back then and are now.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Because it all starts with a vision, isn't it? It's the thought, I guess, the process, and then, but to see it visually, I've always told my kids that if you can see it, it means it's real. If you can touch it, it's real. And then anyone who's out there who is doing it at the same time, you can do it too. So that's beautiful. That's beautiful what you just said there. And so how did the story come into the hands of you two?
Well, the story has got everything to do with whakapapa. And so my genealogy, my great grandmother was at the Battle of Ōrākau, and her and my grandfather was there also. He didn't make it, but she did. She survived through it. She was 26 at the time, and she passed away at 96, and that's all I know of her. Not a famous name of the battle, but because of that connection, that's what drove me to be able to tell the story. So I've got whakapapa on all sides. So there's Maniapoto and Raukawa, they're involved. There's Tūhoi, they're involved as well. And on my mum's side, I'm Tūhoi and Ngāti Awa. And so, yeah, whakapapa plays a big role.
Big role.
And because of that, I'm able to talk to the elders and to the historians of the Battle of Ōrākau and bring a lot of the things to life. A lot of the characters that were there. There's a special character from Te Arawa in Raukawa is Henia Tūrama, who's in the film as well. Rewi Maniapoto, played by Tim Morrison. Amazing performance, probably his best performance I've ever seen him do.
Yeah.
And our kids are amazing, and they're, other than Paku, who plays Haki, the other kids are fresh out of school, haven't acted before, and just the way we help train them and bring them up to a point where I didn't want to touch them anymore, because they were already those characters.
Yeah.
So, they're just playing themselves in the film, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. You can see where Puku, and he's just the young boy, cheeky, and it's just natural. It just comes out through them.
Oh, that kid, even if he's just standing in a room, he'll light the place up,
Yeah.
and everyone will just look at him, just because he's got that persona to, I don't know, he's just got this energy that people gravitate to. Yeah,
gorgeous.
can't stop the little guy.
Yeah, gorgeous. So Timuera Morrison's role in there was quite, it wasn't as flamboyant, I guess, as his other roles that he's played in the past. Is that, I guess, what was the message that was getting, trying to be portrayed? Is that how our tupuna were? They were the...
Yeah, well, yes. There we, if you look at all the, if you hear all the stories that we've heard and the interviews that we did, Lewy was trying to convince Tūhoi not to fight there. And so he was wise, he was intelligent, he was sage when he had to be. He was fierce when he had to be. And Te Mwera didn't need a lot of encouragement because Te Mwera is connected to Rewi because of his Maniapoto side through his mum's side. So his whakapapa goes back to the wider whānau there. And so for Tim, he was just channeling what he knew as a, for all the stories we've heard and brought up with. And so I guess you think about who is the best person that we could find to be Rewi. There is only one person you could look at, and that's Tim, because of his whakapapa. And so it wasn't so much that he had to be someone completely different. He just had to channel whakapapa, really.
Yeah,
And what an amazing performance he gave.
you did.
And that's all through it. So Te Whenua Nui, he is the direct descendant of Te Whenua Nui. So his name is Te Whenua Moemoeā. So he's the great grandson of Te Whenua Nui. So there's this connection that takes the performances to a different level, I think, and that's because of that connection Mike's talking about. The director's connected, the actors are connected, all the extras in the background, they're connected. They came to represent their tupuna, and even though their tupuna wasn't in the script, they were there to represent them and be them in the background, and that's the commitment that we had. And then we had a lot of crew too, who have are descendants of those who fought there. And my role as the producer was to support Mike, because this is his story to tell. And then I learned along the way that my tupuna was in the battle, which we had no idea of. Ngāti Rongoa had no idea from Te Arawa. There weren't many there. And he was there. Himiona Te Pukakotuku was there in the battle. And I think what's really important to note is that Mike and I are, the face of a project that took hundreds and hundreds of people who are passionate about this to make this film what it is. And so this film is a success because of the passion and the connection that people brought to the film and gave of themselves and went beyond, because it was more than just a film. It was about our tupuna.
Yeah.
And the best person to direct this right here, there's no one better to tell this story on this planet.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Whakapapa is where our truth lays, yes? I think so.
Does.
Yeah.
Especially to tell this sort of story, and the many layers, there are many layers to it. And I always say to people, you may have to watch it like 2 or 3 times just to really get the story, and start watching things in the background, and you'll notice different things that come up,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching it the second time round. And I'm sure there's going to be many things that I didn't so much take in the first time. We were blessed enough to be in the same area as a film producer as well, and she's doing a lot of reviews and over in Indonesia about cultural, and so she was brought up in Hamilton. But she was like me. I was like, oh, geez, a bit slow at the start. We're so used to action-packed movies, but even though there was so much action, we were sort of like, where's it going to start? Where's the storyline? I think now going back to the second time, it's going to be boom. This is where it starts, right from the beginning.
Oh yeah,
Right from the beginning.
Everything needs context, so you just gotta take your time, let the actors flex their way through, and let you get used to the actors and identify with them, and especially the kids.
Yeah.
Because of that connection, and then it's a roller coaster after that.
Yeah, it is. I did notice, without giving the story away, about all the subtle, I guess, collaborations that Māori were actually implementing in our lives with the British. The having the flag in our village, the Christianity that was there and present, and we acknowledged it. And yet they still wanted to come at us and take it all. So it was like a real visual impact that, Māori were there. We were trying to do our part in the fight for upholding our tiriti or waitangi.
Oh, totally. It was a huge transitional phase for our whānau, Christianity coming in, people not really too sure about it, but because Māori already had their own religion, and could be brutal at times, other people were looking for different things. And so it was just the way humans work, You present to them something different, like Christianity or different denominations, and people will follow, or they'll take bits and pieces of it and become something else, like Pai Marire or Ho had their own movement, or many movements like Ratana. So, yeah, it was a real volatile time for our people. And at the end of the day, Christianity was used as a colonization tool, and to get into our communities, to think that they're doing good, but actually they were there to do something a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah, lovely. It was cleverly put, and not so much in your face type thing. It was very subtle in the background, but very visual at the same
I
time.
think what when your second time through, you'll see the complexity of Māori grappling with old world and new world, and so we've got stark contrasts deliberately written into this film, which we've got the Kowhai atua from the old world, and we've got Rewi who's in with the church, and then you'll notice in the battle that changes, and what he says in the battle in the film is what he said in the battle at Orako.
Wow.
Hei aha te karakia Pāka, and then that karakia that he did, that karakia Māori, that was the karakia he did in the battle, in the breakout. So we've kept true to a lot of things, but we haven't shied away from the complexity that our people went through, because there are a lot of people in iwi that saw Pākehā technology as something to adopt and utilise to help us move forward. And there are those who could see that sitting behind the technology was a culture of take and destroy. And so it was a hard time, and different tribes went on different sides, sided with the government and sided against the government. End of the day, I'm thankful that we did have our people fight the way they did. They really stopped these. I guess they would have tried to walk through and just take everything had we not fought so well, because at the end of the day, and most people don't know, with all the technology and the numbers they had, the best they could do was a stalemate. We had part-timers with inferior technology. So we're hoping that our story starts the journey of people being curious. To that end, we've also created an education website that people can go to, anyone can go to learn way more. We've interviewed 10 to 15 different iwi experts and descendants who are experts on their aspects of the film. And so we've got a resource, so it's Whawhai Tonu.nz, just Whawhai Tonu.nz. If you go there, you can actually get more context about what went on, because our feature film only deals with little bits. And there's so much more, so much incredible kōrero that can be read and listened to on the website. We've also scanned the pā in a 3D sense, so people can walk around the pā in a digital sense, move around the actual pā site, which is a 1-to-1 scale. It took a bit of effort to make it exactly 1-to-1 as it was back in the day. Wow. It's the first to have one of these pā, recreated since that time.
Wow, that's amazing. And so is that pā site now open for people to come and experience?
Not yet.
Yeah,
it's still there.
Tapu.
The whānau there, they're not quite ready to do that, but we're encouraging them to get it prepared for people to come and visit it, because I know Kura would love to come and visit, because when you walk around it, you realise how small it was.
Wow.
And 300 to 350 Māori in there fighting, they would have been on top of each other, and it's quite scary to think they were in this tiny little pā site, but you don't understand it until you actually walk it. And we had no concept. We had to work this out ourselves in this journey to creating this, including the costumes. There's very little reference to what they wore, very little reference to what it was like to be in trenches. In fact, next to nothing. So we've had to create all that.
Oh,
And so
beautiful.
it's been a wonderful journey, but a big eye opener. And I guess that's where the education resource comes in, because what we now know after this journey of getting to this point, there's so much more kōrero that's fascinating that would love the world to know.
Yeah, beautiful. I remember watching Taringa, the podcast with our Dr. Rangi Mātamua and Runanga. And he spoke of the tohunga, and they were having sort of conversation about wahine tohunga and their right to be involved in karakia and things like this. And it blew me away when one of the tohunga was a wahine in the story. So it sort of made me feel that, you know, the stories are true, because whakapapa does resonate to why it is that you live the life that you live and the paths that you cross and where you end up at the end of the day, and that all comes from my tupuna. And so I'm a descendant from a tohunga, and he was male, but it's been passed through to me. And so when I seen your movie, it sort of like made me really stand strong in the position that I hold in my whānau. And I bet you that's a lot of people out there who have conflicting, you know, chaos going in them, and they're not too sure what these gifts are within them, but they now may get that message that it is true that our people were wahine and it was equal all the way through. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, that was part of our learnings, you know, that wahine had a massive influence on the village, you know, and so with this film, I just knew that we needed to see amazing, beautiful, and strong women to be a role model for our modern world, you know. So it wasn't really specified in the script, but you know, first week of filming, we got back on set, and I went to everyone, all our crew, and I said, there are no weak women in this film. Just letting you know, there are no weak women in this film, and everyone was like, oh, cool, this is awesome, you know, and so that kind of resonated through the whole crew into our actors who played Tūrama, Kōpū, who's the Kowhai or the god medium. You know, I made them a lot stronger than what they should have been.
Oh, wow.
Just because it needed to be like that. I felt like it needed to be like that. My nan was a strong woman. I remember her, and she died when I was like 12 years old, you know, and I just remember her as a strong wahine. So that come through for me to say, let's do this for these characters,
Oh,
you know,
thank
and
you.
for my nan who also, you know, was there at Ōrākau, you know, let's do one for our wahine
Aye.
because we have that opportunity,
Yeah, beautiful.
and in our tāne as well. Yeah, they're all
Aye.
beautiful. You know, you see Te Whenua Nui, who's like this big tough chief, but yet when his baby moko was crying, he would go and tend to moko and go, oh, kia tau moko, kia tau moko. You know, just things like that, little details that weren't in the script.
Yeah.
But you know, I added them in just to give us that little bit extra, you know.
I think that's going to help our tāne heal. You know, we've got a lot of tāne out there that are traumatised in chaos.
And that's what the film's for. It's for healing.
Yeah.
You know, I always say the overarching thing about the film is aroha. In the end, everyone loves each other. Everyone loves our land, loves the culture, and we have to fight for it.
Yes.
You know, we're still fighting for it today.
Yeah.
You know, and so even with our boy and our girl in the film, all they're looking for is to be loved. You know, and because the girl's been starved of it all her life, and she just wants to be touched, to be loved, to be able to hug someone, to be able to laugh, and you know, you think about that as a life. You know, it's no life, especially that she's a kid as well.
Yeah.
And they should be enjoying their life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
it's interesting how you place
things.
the obligations that our parents and I guess the culture too, in which we were brought up in, and the obligations that we then made to force to be, you know, played out into our lives, and it was nice to see how they were able to step into their strength and then pursue their job and their roles, I guess, in their own life.
Yeah, they had to choose in the end,
Mm.
you know, and everyone has to choose one way or another, which way to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mōtiatia.
No,
Oh, I love the Mōtiatia, how he found his way back to his tupuna
yeah,
and his boundaries to where his roots were.
it's very Māori.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful mātua. And ahika.
Yes. Yeah.
I loved all of those little things, you know, and as we go on and continuing to our whānau to watch this movie over and over again, you'll get constant messages of how our tupuna lived and the ways of our world of te ao Māori. Thank you. So we're going to wrap it up because there's lots of people out there and they can't wait to meet you all, both of you. But we have a couple of gifts for you in those tote bags there. So if you just want to open them up, we've got lots of small businesses here on the Gold Coast, and we have the meanest waitangi and the matariki events down here. Yeah. So
Oh, it's beautiful.
these are for you. I was hoping to do producer and director on them, but I ran out of time. So yeah, so I hope they can fit all of your little goodies that you have to put in there.
Thank you so much.
Nah.
Kia ora koutou.
Yeah, that's
Mihi aroha kia koutou hoki. Ah, it's mean.
mean, eh? Bringing back the old school. Yeah. Yeah. So that's our AJ embroidery and apparel, and we culturalize we custom your culture your way. So we're based on the Gold Coast, and the whole idea is, and the concept is to get our youth out of all of this gang banging clothing and put them into culture, so they can start communicating on the streets and learning their
I'm gonna wear this
whakapapa.
now.
So yeah, beautiful to talk to you, Mātua. Thank you so much. Just one last hit. We did have Tikitani here on the weekend. So after the movie, his sound engineering is just off point. This dude is a genius, isn't he? He is amazing. And I must say, the whole sitting and watching the credits as they come through, it just feels like you're in the uruwera, and it feels like you're in the midst of the fogs, and it just lets you overcome all of the feelings that go through you within the journey of watching Whawhai Tonu. So thank you. It's cleverly built. I can't wait for your next sounds, and thank you for coming to the Gold Coast. And so where will you be on your next event? Are you in Logan, I think it is, isn't it?
Brisbane tomorrow night, Garden City.
Oh, yes.
And then there's a screening in Logan Home.
Yes.
Mike heads back on Thursday. I'll stay for the Logan Home and then get
Beautiful.
back on Friday.
Beautiful. There you go, whānau. You heard it here at Raw and Direct. They're going to be in Brisbane. Everybody's been asking if he's going up to Brisbane. And then they're going to be in Logan, I know, on the Thursday. So thank you again. Te Karanga o te Kowhai, your radio Māori program is joined here with Te Aki Toa Media. Thank you so much, Martin.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.